There's always that one makeup look that gets you compliments and you know you love it. You know you love it when someone says, oh my God, your makeup looks really good today, or what have you done today? And you're like, yeah, actually I did put a little bit more effort in. Actually, I did this. Well, this is my one and I want to share it with you because this is the one look that always gets me compliments. I can honestly say that when you put your time into certain things and you've really put an effort in, I feel like you can see it, and not in a bad way, not as in a way where it's like too much, in a really good way. I always notice that when I speed up and rush my makeup, it's great, it's good, it looks good, you know, does the job for the day. But when I really take my time on certain things, like maybe I've really taken my time with my base, or maybe I've added in something that is just a little bit kind of luxe for me, I really notice the difference in how I look in pictures, but also it does get me compliments. So this is what I'm gonna show you today. Let's get on with it. I have absolutely nothing, other than an eyelash that's just fallen off because I had natural lash extensions done the other day. So the odd couple are like falling off now. But I have nothing on my face, no skincare, nothing. So what I'm gonna do first, because this really makes a difference to my skin, is do my ice roller. This is my Skinny Confidential ice roller. I absolutely love this. I always wait about 10 minutes after taking it out. So it's been roughly, I think, about 10 minutes. So it's like not totally kind of frozen over, but I do this on my skin mainly to tighten my pores and to lift. And oh God, it's so cold. I'm gonna just do this here. I actually just lightly go over my cheeks here first, because this is where I have a lot of open pores, so I don't press too hard because when it is cold you also don't want to leave it there. It's got to be fast movements, and this really helps to just tighten up my pores because I have quite open pores on these, like my central cheek area. There you go. Okay, next. This is the hard part. I just go along here really quickly. I don't like to spend too long. You don't also want to freeze it too much, like keep the cold on there for too long. I really notice the difference when I do this. Can you already see the difference? It's crazy, isn't it? It just really shapes the face. I feel like I'm literally molding my face right now. Okay, next I get the other side. That's this side here. Let's just warm this up a little bit because I didn't take the lid off. Okay, now I just go over my forehead. I don't press too hard on my jaw, by the way. I'm just going to do this again because I love it there. There you go. Okay, so that is done. That's the first thing I do that I feel makes a really big difference in my skin. My next step is using my peptide booster. I absolutely love this. I've started using this recently. It's by COSRX, an amazing Korean brand. Links are all going to be in my description because I always get it from the same place, all my Korean stuff, and they're so reliable, by the way. It's this like it's a Korean store, so you're going to find everything Korean in there. It's an absolutely amazing store, so make sure you do head on over and use the links because there are just discount codes with it too. This is my COSRX, the 6 peptide skin booster. It's amazing because it has everything I need in here. And I just put this all over. And we're gonna let that dry down. In the meantime, I'm gonna put my eye cream, which is my MAC Hyper Real Serumizer Eye Treatment. I always find that prepping my skin properly through the day makes a huge difference. Okay, while I'm letting that still dry down, yep, still needs to dry, I'm gonna actually put my brow wax on. This is my Urban Decay Slick Day Brow Wax. I always find doing this before I put any makeup on actually makes a really big difference to my brows. So I make sure I go back and forth to really kind of get into the hairs. See that? We've got it all over. Next, I get my Anastasia Brow Freeze applicator, and then I just smooth the hairs up. Then I get the flat side and I push up and to the side. That way, because I don't have any makeup on, I'm not ruining my base. Perfect. You can really see where I'm sparse there. Do you see what I mean? Like, look at those bits there. That's where I'm kind of bold. Okay, now I'm going to give this sufficient time to dry down so that we can move on with the rest of the face. So right now I can put my moisturizer on, which is my Calm Keto cream. We're going to let that dry down, just give that like 30 seconds or so. Then I'm going to go in with my SPF I'm using at the moment, which is my 111 Skin Repair Sunscreen, which is actually SPF 50. And I'm going to put this on everywhere. Right, now we are ready for makeup. So I'm going to put my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip because I want something that really kind of like is a bit tacky so that it really grips hold of my makeup. And I just kind of pat that on. Right, next I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter because you know this is an amazing step. It's absolutely amazing. And if you haven't done this so far, you are missing out at some major subtle radiance that isn't in your face. Usually I use number 6 because I'm usually a bit more tanned than this, but I'm actually not that tanned at the moment, so I'm going to use 5. So I'm going to add this everywhere, kind of focusing more on the perimeter. And we're going to smooth this over. And obviously you're going to see that radiance come through immediately anyway with just this product on, but it honestly is an amazing base for your foundation. If you want, you can just spot highlight. So for example, don't put it all over, just focus on the perimeter of your face. Now you do want to let this dry down, you don't want to go straight in with foundation. So the foundation you use is really about understanding what your skin needs for the day. So what kind of finish do you want for the day and how is your skin feeling? So if it's feeling very dry, you know you need extra hydration, but if you still want a matte finish, then use extra hydration in your skincare and in your primer, and then you can go in with a matte foundation. At least you've really focused on the hydration first, and then you finished off with the type of finish that you want as opposed to what your skin may need, because you already addressed that. I think I've given my skin enough hydration, so I'm kind of good to go with a normal foundation or like whatever matte foundation that I want. I'm going to go in with this foundation because I've recently started using it and I do really love it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. My shade is 7 Neutral. So this is a pretty full coverage foundation, but it is very lightweight. You don't need a lot of this. And I think this works really well with the Hollywood filter as well. So I've got my BK Beauty 106 brush. I get a very small amount of it just to the side of my hand. And then I'm going to start buffing this in. Okay, so a very small amount because it is full coverage. You don't actually need a lot. And I'm just going to show you on half the face so you can really see the difference. A little goes a long way with this, so you don't need a lot. Let's take a look. I have the Hollywood filter on one side, you can see all the radiance here, and then I have my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation, which you can still see that really nice kind of radiance coming through. So this is a great finish that I have, but I do want to just add on the other side. Okay, really happy with that finish. Okay, I've got my Tarte Shape Tape and I'm going to get this on the back of my hand and then get my powder ready. So I've got my Huda Beauty Easy Bake in Banana Bread. Got my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I always use this to prep my sponge. And then I've got the concealer on the back of my hand. So I'm going to go into this concealer. This is where I'm going to get this onto my lids. Now, because I've got lash extensions, it always makes it a little bit more difficult because I don't want to cover my lashes with concealer. So I just go as close as I can and then I show you what I do to get close to my lash line. Because you end up missing little areas when you're trying to avoid you know, your lashes. So what I do is I get a little fluff brush, get any eyeshadow fluff brush that doesn't have any eyeshadow on it, which seems to be pretty hard for me to find. Okay, there you go. So this is my BK Beauty 207 brush. I'm gonna go into the concealer and I'm just gonna go closer to my lash line. And this usually does the trick. The only thing annoying about lash extensions is it does take a little bit longer to take your makeup off thoroughly. Okay, so we're going to dip into this powder and then onto the eyelids. And then we're going to immediately dust off this powder. And that's our eyelids set. Even with these lash extensions, because I do love them, but I do feel like she's gone a little bit short. I quite like longer lashes, so I am still going to add mascara. So I know you shouldn't, but don't tell anyone. So, okay, I'm going to go in with my concealer now, and I'm going to add this. I've got this spot right there, by the way. It's in such a weird place. There you go. Got my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood complexion brush and I'm just buffing that in there. Right, now let's get the sponge and we're just going to buff this in. I absolutely love this base, but there's so many little things that we're going to do that's going to really help to just elevate the base a lot more, because I do find that this look does get me a lot of compliments, and the funny thing is I haven't even done a lot for my eyes, and that's what I love about it, is that it is really a very uncomplicated look. Right, I'm using my Dior Forever Blush Soft Filter in Daisy. I can never read this, but I'm putting this on the back of my hand. This is a really nice peach colour. Let's just smooth this over. And then I've got my Hourglass 15 brush. I'm going to buff into this, which is on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to put this on. And I really love how soft this is. It's not kind of like in your face. It's kind of like this tropical peach colour. Like it's not actually, oh, my hair is really annoying me, that bright, but it's kind of perfect for daytime or evening. It's so soft. It's like a soft tropical finish to the skin. There you go. See how that's really lifted the cheeks there? I think I found that a lot of what I'm putting on my skin for this type of look isn't much of a contrast to everything else I'm putting. Everything is very kind of like bunched together, but just slight differences here and there with tone. So it's not drastic differences between each shade. And that's what I really love about it. Like the minute I apply my blush, it's not like, oh, whoa, like that's a really bright color. It kind of blends in really nicely, but it's still there, which is what I love. The next thing that I do is I use my contour stick. This is my Dior contour stick in tan. And then I get my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Brush. And then I go like this. And then I take the excess off on the back of my hand. And I very lightly sculpt my cheekbones. But I don't go so far in. Like I really do keep it on the perimeter. And then very gradually tap inwards. So I always tap here first, get most of the colour there, and then gradually tap in. And this gives me a really nice kind of, just some nice dimension to the face without it looking like I've done a full contour. See what I mean? Then whatever's left on the brush, I put it here. This gives me a lift, and then take it on the sides of the hairline. See, this is what I was talking about. Just that little bit there, and I'm not saying that's the only thing because it is a combination of everything I've put on my skin, but just that little thing, that bit of extra effort that I've put in by brushing the contour on with a brush rather than trying to draw stripes and then trying to blend it all, is kind of, it pays off. That's what I'm talking about there. So that little section that I did, and I'm not saying that that's the only thing that makes a difference to this whole look and that's what gets me the compliments, putting that bit of effort into the contour rather than drawing the stripes and actually getting a brush and just kind of like very lightly doing it and actually being a little bit more kind of creative. Not creative, but you're just putting a bit of effort into the artistic approach to makeup. That pays off in the end, but it is a combination of everything that we're doing that actually gets you the compliments. So right now, I want to set everything, but then there's this really cool little thing that I'm going to do after that's going to just really elevate my kind of the radiance a little bit too. Right now I want to set it, so we're going to make sure there's no creasing anywhere. So let's make sure. Right, I've got my powder puff. I'm going to dip it into my powder. I really make sure I get that shape right there. So underneath the eye area and then upwards. That makes sure that it doesn't get shiny throughout the day and it stays put. Then we do here, remember where I put that concealer? I did it in the same shape, didn't I? So all of this gives me that lifted look. Then we're gonna go onto the forehead. I wanna go down the nose because that always gets shiny for me, this center part. Now I'm not putting it on the cheeks and I'll explain why. First thing I wanna do is dust away the powder on the under eyes. Got my veil brush and I just very lightly dust off the powder. But as I'm dusting, it's kind of going very lightly over my cheeks anyway. Okay, now at this point, I want to let everything kind of settle down. And what I mean by that is, wait, I've got hair. I can feel it right here somewhere. I can feel this. Why is it stuck there? Oh, it's gone. That was annoying. At this point, I like the way everything's set. I love the finish that my skin has got because of all those like really amazing layers that we've done, which are very thin by the way, and plus the foundation is amazing. But there are little things that I want to do that brings dimension back to my face. So before we do that, let's get these brows done so they're out of the way, and then it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to see. If you like this video so far, please do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell button because those three little things actually make a really big difference to my channel and it doesn't cost you a thing, and I would really appreciate it. So thank you in advance. Okay, so I've got my Benefit Mighty Fine Brow Pen. I'm just drawing little hair strokes. It's never perfect with this, but it actually does make a huge difference. I know it looks really quick and maybe you don't see much of a difference now, but this actually gets me compliments because once I've finished it, it's that product that actually gives the illusion of a more fuller brow, not necessarily thicker, but you know, it kind of hides the sparseness very well. So there are other products that work well in combination with that, and that's what really helps ultimately, but I have noticed that pen always does get me compliments. Next, I get my Charlotte Tilbury brow sheet in dark brown, and then this is where I kind of add more dimension. So because the pen is a different formula to this, it's a liquid, this is a pencil, so both of those different finishes actually like work really well together to bring the perfect dimension to your brow, especially when you have sparseness. So I just kind of do little flicks in all the right places, so mainly where the hair is very sparse. Where I've already got hair, I don't usually use the pencil. It's always on areas that I don't have hair. Now this is where we can finish off the dimension on the face. So what I want to do is add a bit of powder bronze, which is my Fenty Sunstalk'r in Private Island. And this isn't so much about the sculpting because we've done that with the Dior contour. This is more to do with the warmth on the face, but I still do it in the same place that I sculpted, and it gives me the most stunning finish to my skin because it just makes me look a bit more alive. I've got more color in my skin and I love color in my skin. I'm going to do another little bit, but I'm going to show you that after I finish my eyes and my lips. So let me just add a bit of my Dior lip maximizer. By the way, have you subscribed to thebeautybreakfastclub.com? It's my online platform, community, magazine, which I know you're gonna love. Everything is about beauty, health, mindset, fitness, style, everything you can think of. Great product reviews. If you wanna know about all the new products before anyone, then head on over to that magazine because you're gonna find it there. Also, you get loads of great stuff for over 40s too, in case you are over 40, and it's free, which gives you access to some of the site. But if you go for the paid version, it literally just costs you the same as getting yourself one coffee a month. I do all of this for you free, so that little bit of kind of help on your side would really mean the world to me. Plus, you're going to get a lot more for it too. Unlocks the entire site. You also get to join the group chat, which is amazing. We've got over 6,000 people on this community, and it is so nice because everyone's made friends on this group chat. You get to ask me whatever you want and I will answer your questions directly. So I want to see you over there. So make sure you do subscribe, thebeautybreakfastclub.com. Let me blot that and then we can do the lips. Now I'm going to use my Giorgio Armani, I can't remember what this is called, and it's called Prisma Lip or Lip Prisma. I'll put it on the screen. I always get compliments on this. It's this really nice peachy gloss. It's so nice. No, they say you shouldn't have to apply mascara with lash extensions, but these don't look that long to me. So I'm just going to add it to the tips. Just a little bit. I mean, look at the difference that makes. That's what I expected them to look like. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. My toxic trait is using tweezers to separate my lashes. I've been doing it since I was at school because mascara is one of the first things that I started using as makeup. In fact, it was worse when I was at school. I used to use a safety pin. I know, right? The lack of fear when you're younger. But yeah, now I use tweezers. I've moved up a level. I've become a little bit safer, tweezers. But yeah, I used to use a safety pin and just separate them and get the perfect fan lash because obviously we didn't have the greatest makeup back then. There you go. You've learnt something new about me. Okay, so I'm going to use this new NARS Light Reflecting Luminizing Powder. Now, I've used this already a few times and I have already gotten compliments from this. It's absolutely amazing. The shade that I'm currently loving is Ophelia. I would say when I'm tanned, I'm going to use the shade Total Eclipse because it's like this beautiful bronze color. I might actually layer it on top of this after. So yeah, let's see. Because I really do kind of like mixing different highlighter shades together to get that really nice transitional shade. So let's apply this. This is my BK Beauty 108 brush. So this gives you like a radiant sheen wherever you apply it. It's a serum powder hybrid texture. So it is quite kind of like smoothing. It's not something which is going to be overly powdery. You don't get a lot of fallout from this either. So I'm just going to do a really light sweep across the peaks of my cheekbone. Wow, look at that. That is nice. I'm actually going to layer this with a different color because I cannot help but use the deeper shade because I absolutely love it. Now, there are a few other places that you can use this. So use a little bit on the tip of your finger and just go on the tip of your nose. You don't want like a dot. You want it to be kind of like just across a little bit. And then I usually use a different finger to just take off the excess. Now, another place I like doing this is right down the bridge of the nose, but not all the way down to the bottom. I just like doing it right there. So it avoids it looking too long. Another place is just a really soft amount here, but not a lot. And these little things, these little touches that you do actually make a really big difference. Let's use this one because I'm dying to. Right, I'm gonna layer on this shade. Oh, I love this. What are we thinking of this? Oh, it's such a pretty color. I think those are my two favorites, Ophelia and Total Eclipse. What are we thinking of this? Guys, I would like your opinion on this because highlighters can be a little bit too much. Is this too much? This is as heavy as I would go with highlighter. Anything more than this and you're gonna start to see a reflection in my face. I just don't like that. But I really love how this looks on the skin. It's very lightweight. It's not chunky. It's like the smoothest sheen ever. Now, don't forget when you've applied your highlighter, you can just lightly go over it with your finger, skim over it, and that actually tones it down a bit so there's not so much shine there, but it really depends on what you like. If you like it there, then fine. I like to always go over with my finger just to kind of almost dilute it a little bit. That is a really, really good step that adds that bit of extra luxe to your skin. So what are we thinking of this look? This is my finished look, and it always gets me compliments because people always compliment my skin. It wasn't looking as good as this. I feel like it's really about making the best of what you have, and this is a really good technique that's going to just make your skin look very luxe, very expensive. All it takes is a little bit of effort that you've put in, a little bit of extra time to really focus on your application, your technique, and the kind of products that you're using in the layering, and you're going to be left with the most amazing result, and you're going to look stunning. You're going to look beautiful. Your skin is going to look amazing. I'd love to know what you think, so please do let me know in the comments, and also don't forget everything's listed in the description, and I will see you on the next video.